Welcome to season 2 of
We grown?
Question mark.
I'm Sean,
I'm Jess.
And I'm Moya.
and first things first. What had you feeling grown?
Hearing these new kids refer to us as someone born in the 1900s. Like, why is that an insult?
Why is it true?
Why is it true? I think that's what makes it the most hurtful. Like, the 1900s? Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really had me feeling my age, on top of the fact that the other day I was like, oh, I remember when I was in high school, when I was 15. I was like, dang, that's
15
more
years
than
ago?
15 years
Right.
ago.
Like,
I was a whole 2 times of me.
yeah, I was like, dang, you've been
That's crazy.
alive longer than.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's really crazy. Like, I was in high school a whole 15 years ago. Plus, unfortunately.
Plus. That is crazy.
Made me feel
It's
old.
just so mind blowing when you think about high school.
Mhm.
Like, cause I got high schoolers applying to my program now, and I'm just like, every time I get an email from them, and it's like, Mr. Sean, and I'm like, ugh, my heart. Like, Mr. Johnson, I'm like, please stop. Like,
It
and-
doesn't seem like that long
It
ago,
doesn't.
though.
That's the crazy part about it. It doesn't seem that like it was that far off.
Yeah.
Yes, like especially when I look at the applications and then I see the year that they're born, and I'm like, dang.
I
They were
can't.
born while you were graduating.
Like, basically, I feel like I was done. Like I was already in high school, like living my best life. Like,
Yeah.
Yo,
but it's cool, I guess.
it's not.
It's just part of being grown, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Growing up, it all happens. It happens to everybody. I'm sure our parents are like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I still think of myself as like that young, vibrant kid still learning, and then I'm like, but I'm older.
But you're born in the 1900s.
Yeah.
Exactly. The late 1900s.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, oh my God.
I guess that makes it sound
A little better. A little bit.
Yeah,
We're not early 1900s.
It's not going to
mean-
sound any better as we get older. I'll say that. Our kids are be like, dang, you were born back then?
Okay, they say that now.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Hey, that is just a thing
Fair.
that they say. So
Yeah.
eh,
yeah.
it's part of it.
It's a podcast, it's a video, and more.
Okay.
So we want to welcome you guys back to season 2 of We Grown. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Gotta put the sound effects in there. Before we fully dive into season 2, we wanted to give you guys a brief introduction of what is to come so that you guys can get excited with us. Last year, we recorded some of our episodes and interviews with our husbands, which very funny episodes. Very funny episodes, but also very insightful episodes. We learned a lot about each other as couples, like first dates, a lot of IHOP stories. But yeah, just getting into who we are on a different level, us as like family structures, and meeting those people, and getting a better understanding of where we are as grown people with spouses.
Yeah, I think those episodes are pretty decent to watch because we talk about our spouses so much, and you guys probably are like, are y'all really married? I mean, especially
Yeah.
because last season we got tons of questions about like our sneaky links,
Child!
who would we want to
Y'all.
mess with. So we just going to break it down and show y'all the people that we are actually with
Yeah.
and happily married to.
Yes,
So
that
Mhm.
part.
thank you all for encouraging this topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and along with the whole discussion of marriage, we want to, and I believe we mentioned it in the end of our finale episode, is that we're gonna review the Marriage Be Hard book, written by Kevin and Melissa. So I think we'll give a little bit of background. Jess will give a little bit of background on why we chose to review this book and basically what's to come after.
Yeah. So we started out watching like YouTube in college, and this was when YouTube was fresh. So super fresh before I think Google
You making
bought
us
them.
sound older and older with your 1900s.
Unfortunately,
I mean,
YouTube. Yeah, those are the 1900 babies.
Oh my goodness. Unfortunately, yeah. Like, I think when we were in high school, it was like the first time YouTube started. And then once we were in college, more people were like posting stuff on there. And so there were very few Black creators on YouTube, as well as Black creators doing like funny, relatable content. So, like, with us being in college and then all of us kind of having like a churchy background, Kev on stage was just one of those comedians that we were just like, oh yeah, that's funny. Like, that's relatable. And I think at the time he was with the Playmakers too. So it was like him and all his friends and his brother like doing skits and comedy. And we were just like, it was so funny because it was relatable. It was stuff that we experienced in our life. And we're like, I didn't realize other people outside of, us like had those experiences. So, as the years progressed, we kind of kept following the careers. We've been to comedy shows. Yeah. We went to the book signing.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we really enjoyed following them. And this book was definitely key, I think, in something that we all want to continue to learn how to manage a marriage like the millennial way. Because I think we're so used to how culture tells us and our parents and religion. So it's just like, well, we want to do marriage our way. So how are other people doing it? And this was just one of the steps in that. So we wanted to share that with you all.
Yeah, and I was fully invested in the Love Hour podcast. And I was so hurt when it ended. Like, it wasn't even funny. I was like, I would watch those episodes and literally go to my husband like, hey, this is what they said on this episode. We should try that. Like, they gave me so many tips and just good conversations to have, even if it wasn't directly with my husband. Sometimes it'd be like, oh, my friends are in relationships. Oh, Kevin and Melissa said X, Y, and Z, or they had someone on who talked about this. Have you thought about that? So like getting the book and actually reading it, and you guys know from one of them episodes where we were talking about reading, and I was like, I don't read, but I was like, I have to read it. Like, I need to know what they were talking about. And in the intro, they mentioned the fact that they want this to be a guide, like the type of guide they didn't get to receive. So giving you the real honest picture of what marriage is. Even the cover is like, it'd be rough. Like, it's rough sometimes, but you still push through. But how and why, I think, are the answers that I'm kind of looking for in their book. And I'm hoping to get those answers, or at least some sort of guidance to that. I think it'll be interesting. We've started it. We haven't finished yet, so we're just getting in. So if anyone wants to join, if you want to join and read along with us, definitely do that. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I think the way we plan on doing it is probably by chapter, like specific topics. So each of our episodes will be kind of based on a topic that they're talking about. Also, just side note, we're not therapists, we're not professionals. Everything is just going to be our opinions and thoughts. So if you do happen to listen to us, we just here. We just
take it with a grain of salt.
Please. Yes.
We learning and growing and trying stuff out too. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. I think definitely having that space to grow. We learned by listening to other people, seeing their example. And even one of the things they said in the book in the intro was like, especially coming from like a Christian churchy background, like there's always these conferences on marriage and these things talking about, how to be single, how to do this the right way. And it's just like, you see examples, but they're not authentic.
Yeah, everybody's perfect.
Yeah. And so like even with the Love Hour, like that was one thing I really appreciated, was their authenticity to like be open about their struggles, and not everybody is like that. So I'm really looking forward to this journey.
Yeah. Since we haven't really read much yet, I think we want to start with just what we got out of the introduction. And one thing that really stuck out to me was the fact that they kept mentioning like growing up in a church environment and growing up, quote unquote, churchy. So what do you guys think about that? Like, we all kind of, I know I grew up in church and was there pretty much 5 days a week doing one thing or another. So anyone want to take that?
I guess they're looking at me, so
I mean, we can go down the line.
I mean, that's fine. So I wasn't really grown like in the church like that. Like, I went to church. We weren't necessarily a family that went on Easter only. Like, we went I didn't necessarily always want to go, but then there were times that I did want to go. So it was cool. Um, but my family was never like, this is, like they weren't slapping the Bible against my head.
Yeah.
Like we were, I guess, more,
Laid back about it.
yeah. I mean, growing up, like I didn't go, um, like later on, like as I became more of an adult. I think I went occasionally. One of my friends, they had, they were a part of a church, so we attended that, quite often. But we just kind of do our own thing, I suppose. Yeah.
Fair.
I mean, in college, we went to some,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that is
That's
there's a
whole,
story there, but
yeah,
yeah. I think my experience was starting out. I definitely was in church. We weren't like those church members that did everything and volunteered for all of these things, but we definitely did like the Bible studies, the services, and then I was in Christian schools. And then after I started going to public schools, I was originally in like a competitive dance company, and then I moved to a Christian based dance company. And so then that's where I was getting my Monday, well, almost, yeah, Monday through Saturday churchiness and
Yeah.
church culture stuff. And then Sunday back in church. So, and then my family, again, like both sides, very involved in the church, very, very religious and faith filled and all of that. So, I've always had a churchy background. And it's so weird, like, again, seeing other people that are different, and not in your family still having relatable and similar experiences. So, yeah, I think for me, it's always been a part of my life and my family culture to the point where I can't really separate, like, I guess my blackness from my churchiness because it's it's always just been my background. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't until I was a full grown adult that I really saw what white church it's
Yeah.
like. So yeah, I think that's been my experience with church.
For me, we were churchy. Like we went to Sunday school on Sundays. We went to service, choir practices, Bible studies, Wednesday night service. Like we went to everything. And then my dad eventually became a deacon, so then he would have Bible studies at home. Like we just came from church, and
everywhere.
we would have Bible studies at home. Like we would all sit at the
Yeah.
kitchen table, and he would be like, "This is the scripture. We're all reading together." So churchy, like I I definitely, like, I don't even know what the word is, but I definitely relate to that word. Like it was very heavy, but I would say that my church wasn't as, because sometimes people describe churches and it's always so negative. There were things that I would say I didn't like per se, but it wasn't what was being preached.
Yeah.
Like it was select
Mhm.
people who were doing things that was overboard, and that I didn't agree with. And growing up, because of my dad being someone who was into the Bible and teaching us, I could be like, "You're wrong," and my daddy will tell you you're wrong. Like I could say things confidently and know that I'm actually saying the right thing, and nobody can lead me astray. And so even like when we went into the whole purity culture, because they talk about that in here, and Melissa, she talks about it a lot, like growing up in a church that is like, you can't do this, like no sex before marriage, no this and that. Like, yes, that, but also when it was time for us to do our the purity rings and
ring thing.
yeah, my mom basically was like, "Do you want to do that?" And I was like, "Well, I don't want to make that kind of commitment because I don't know." Like, I just don't know. I was maybe 11. I wasn't thinking about sex, but I was like, apparently everybody be having sex. Like, and I don't want to be the one that went up here and married Jesus and then cheated on him. Like, so that was my whole thing. And she was like, "Well, I mean, you don't have to do it." So I never did it. But I also, I'm pretty sure that out of everybody that went to that thing, all of them ended up having sex way before I started having sex. So it was like, y'all did all that just for show, where I was like really convicted about it, but didn't do the whole putting on the show to say, oh, we all got married and we have our ring and this means that we're not going to do things, but then they take it off to do those things.
Yep.
Where with me, it was like, I'm carrying this with me. So in college, like, it wasn't like I wasn't tempted to do it, but it was more of a, let me really think about this. Like, is this something I want to do? Truly, how will I feel after the fact? Like, so all of that was something that I really thought about. But it wasn't shoved down my throat the way that a lot of people say they experienced in church. But yeah, I think that their experience, because she was somebody who was like, I'm gonna wait till I'm married.
She did it by the book.
Yeah, she did it by the book. But I feel like she also talks about how I did it by the book, but I don't know if that was the right way per se. Or I don't know if I was prepared. So I had more freedom than she did because I did it kind of by the book, mostly by the book. But I also had the option, it seemed like the option to do whatever I wanted to do. Like, no one was really clocking me. So I don't know. It was different. The only thing that I feel like would have been really bad is if I just was pregnant, because now it's like, no, you're pregnant. You had sex. Like, nobody cared what anybody was doing unless they got pregnant.
That's crazy.
And that's the real about church. Like, they be knowing people are out here doing anything, and they won't say anything unless somebody gets pregnant. And then it's just the woman who gets.
Yeah, and it's just her. She's the problem. Child.
Yeah.
Southern culture, Southern church culture is just crazy, because between also, like, going to church in, the area that I lived in, when we would go to visit my parents, my grandparents, and my family, like in the South, it's like, I won't say even worse, but it's even worse. Like,
I mean, I can imagine.
Yeah, like, I couldn't, like, certain churches, I could not wear pants. Like, my mom would tell me, you cannot pack dress pants to go to church. You have to have, your dress or a skirt, and it has to be this long, and you have to wear this or you have to wear that. And I'm just like, I wasn't used to that, but then that was the culture that she grew up in. So I appreciate that, like, my parents still kind of created a different culture than what they grew up in, because it was just so much more, I would say, restrictive. And I did have that whole, like, purity culture, like, pushed on me, but oddly enough, because we weren't, like, super in our own church, but I was in these groups and I was in these schools, it was constantly, like, put on me to be a certain way, or here's a book you should read, and and it's all of this stuff coming at you, and you're just like, can I make a decision for myself? Like, everybody's telling me these things, and I don't get to make the decision for myself. I'm being told who I am. I'm being told what I'm going to be if I do this or do that. And it's just like, but none of y'all, none of y'all are telling me how that looks for me in my shoes, in my situations. Like, I'm just hearing all of this situational and fear tactics and all these other things. And it's just, purity culture did some damage.
Yeah, like, there's no how to. It's just don't do it.
Yeah, and that was the thing. It's just don't do it. And there's no other way around it. And even if your body looks a certain way, then clearly you're associated with wanting to be this way. And it's just like, bro, like, there's so many things that I can't control, and y'all are telling me who I am and what I am. And it's just like, yeah. I never know what purity culture was like for guys, but
I wasn't. It was a thing.
Yeah, that's the, and that was the crazy part.
I couldn't comment on it. I wasn't
Yeah,
at the church for that, so
True.
they might have been doing it. I was. off.
Oh, I know that church was doing it because
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know people from that church, and yeah, they do the whole 9 at that one.
They did the whole 9 the one Sunday we went to visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that church was very. I mean, it's like the churches you see on TV.
Yeah.
You got,
Theatrical.
Yeah.
the music starts going, the arms start pumping, the bodies start flopping.
We actually had a youth pastor that came from that church to our church, and we were a Southern Baptist church, but we didn't shout. Like, there was still like a few people that shouted, and so he was like, "Y'all don't know how to shout," and I was like, it's not that deep.
Like-
Like, what are we shouting about? And so he was trying to teach us, and I was like, I feel like it shouldn't be a teachable thing. If you're supposed
Yeah.
to do this and
Then
you're
you
led
just
by
do
the
it.
Spirit to
Yeah.
do it, then we would all be doing it.
Shout
Yeah.
like me.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
it was interesting. I was just like, this is interesting. He left, but he was like,
Y'all
y'all
weren't
not-
giving.
y'all
Y'all weren't giving what he was looking for. Like,
Yeah.
Y'all weren't giving what y'all were supposed to have gave.
Apparently. Apparently.
So there was when we were in school, we tried to make some efforts to have some like Sunday service on occasion. And so there was one time, I'm not from the area, so there's no way I could go to my church. And this was before churches were like live streaming. So
Stop making us sound older than we are.
I'm sorry. It's just it's wild that you really think about it. Like, dang.
I mean,
there
stuff
was a
has
live stream.
evolved so quickly. I mean, like,
Yeah.
live
yeah.
streaming is fairly recent. I mean, like, video calling is, you know, like, that wasn't a huge thing. Like, before I was like, don't call me on video. Like, I don't want to look at your face. Like, don't call me at all.
Yo,
And then now
FaceTime
it's
was-
like-
yeah,
I feel like I video call way more than I,
regular call.
yeah, I'm like,
For sure.
right. Like, even when people are driving, it's like, throw the phone in the chair. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm
just
just,
want to look at the sky.
right, I'm just looking at your car top.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hmm.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Tell a story.
Oh, but yeah. So we weren't able to, just attend a random, service via the internet. So Sean was like, "Oh, you all can go to my church." And so we're like, "Okay." And remember, freshman year, Sean was the only one that drove. So we were just like, "Sure, wherever he going, we gonna go." So we pull up to the church. I think we were a little late too. Like they had just
We had, well, even if we were on time, we were in the overpass.
Yeah, oh yeah, we were in the
Overflow-
overflow room.
overpass.
Shouting in the streets. So we get in there, they hand us a pamphlet. I'm like, "Oh, cool. It's like a random anniversary of the church. Great." And then they're like, "Yeah, we have a guest pastor." And so we're sitting there in overflow, like watching the screen, people going crazy. They shouting. And literally, like, the guest pastor gets up, says like one word, and then they just start a praise break. And I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Oregon came out. Everybody,
Child.
like, you better.
I remember seeing one little kid jump from the top step down to the bottom to just start shouting. I'm like, oh, this is one of those churches. I'm like, a child? He literally just jumped from the top step to the bottom behind the pastor preaching to do his little And Moy was like, my church don't do this.
My church really didn't.
So literally the whole service, the whole anniversary service, guest pastor with the sermon allegedly, was just them shouting. Like he would say 2 words, praise break.
He never got to the sermon. And
never
I think
got
at the
to it.
end, what I don't know how he determined when the end was, but he basically was like,
When the time was up.
is
Like,
there a time at the
Yeah,
church?
that joint is. You got the 7:30. You got the 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
more sense now because I was like, what happened?
Yeah, 7:30, 9:30, 11:30. Like you gotta.
Yeah, I think we
Keep
went to
it
the
moving.
we went to the 9 maybe.
Yeah, probably. Like, cause I
They
wasn't
were forcing
going.
us out.
I wasn't going to 11.
Yeah, they'd be going all day. We wouldn't have got back.
Oh
at
no,
like
not
3.
there. Because I think it's another one after that too. So,
Mm-mm.
but they,
Child.
in and out, in and out.
With
Sometimes
the-
you be in
the shout.
overflow. Sometimes you be in the little I don't even know what it's called. The trailer across the street.
Not a trailer across the street.
Yeah, it was a lot of people. Well, they moved now because there was too many people.
That's wild.
So
I guess there be some sermons there. 'Cause
yeah, now it's
the
huge.
day we
It's
were there, we were
gigantic.
just like,
I think I went once where there was a sermon and we were inside, and I went with you, Sean, and your mom was there, and
Mhm.
we sat together. But again, it was still a lot. It was
people
still
would
a lot
be
going on.
breaking out them flags, running up and down the aisles. I'm like, isn't this normally like a choreographed kind of thing?
Nah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
The sheets come out
no, yeah.
because once the body hit the floor, you just lay it on top. You just gotta avoid them. I mean, John went. He wasn't ready. I warned him
I'm
though.
sure.
I was like, just so you know, it get a little hype. And then the lady next to him, she called John. I was like, don't look, just keep looking straight. I was like, pay her no mind.
Poor thing.
Yeah. He was like, oh, I was not
Mhm.
expecting that. I know you said it, but I wasn't ready.
Mhm.
I was like, I wasn't ready for it either. I wasn't ready for it to be so close.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Anybody can get it.
Right. Yeah.
So I think as churchy and churchy adjacent and everything in between people, and also as married people, we want to go into season 2 just leaning into that a little bit and letting you guys see that side of us. And we hope that we still want to have our guest on. And just because we're talking about marriage doesn't mean that single people can't be on,
Yeah, because
or
I think
dating people.
we're gonna try and make it relatable to our friendships as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
It's not just our marriages. It'll
Yep.
be
We've
Yeah.
been married longer than we've all been married. So.
Like literally,
Yeah.
we've been with each other longer than anything.
Yeah.
Thank you again for watching. Stay tuned for our first husband's episode. It's Sean's husband, the most loyal husband of all. And I know my
Listen.
husband is going to be like, you going to keep saying that, I'm going to stop watching. But he is. Like,
he is.
He
He
is.
he watches it. He watches it on YouTube. He
Mm-hmm.
watches it on Spotify. He
Loyal.
watches it when I edit it. Like, every short we put out, he be right there watching it. He played it back. He played a whole bunch of times too. This
He'd be our
one-
50 views.
I was listening to the one. It was recently. Jess was editing, and then John was like, "She trying to come for you." He was like, "Cause you come for her all them times."
Yep,
He was like,
true.
Exactly.
getting revenge. I was
About
like-
time.
Yo, Jess is about to start editing more videos. So
She came for me the
The-
last one. I didn't even do the video.
Which one?
The one.
I don't think I posted
the
it.
one- oh, maybe not. There was a video with Jess singing. Well, she was mad because she wanted to sing a specific song, and we were just singing all kind of songs. And then Jess was. I thought she was playing around.
I did too.
And then we like, oh, how's this? Jess was so mad. And I was like, well, we don't gotta post it. Like, it's okay. Then the next
Yeah,
thing I
be in
know,
my feelings. I'm like, I'm not gonna be the butt of every joke, y'all.
next thing
Please,
I know,
make us the butt of the joke. All you gotta do is make the video.
right, all these videos start coming out. Sean. I was like, I didn't even make the video. I was like, I was just there.
That's because y'all don't be catching me slipping like that.
Okay.
We
Go
can.
ahead, post it. Shoot, I'm okay with laughing at myself.
I'm okay with laughing at myself too. I thought that video was so funny.
It was hilarious, and
it
now
was.
the world won't get
I
to see
was
it.
Nope.
dying.
You're welcome.
Make sure to comment below if you want to see the video of Jess singing. That is hilarious.
No,
Drop a comment.
It's actually
Yes,
not,
because I was sounding so good that week. So good.
unfortunately.
I mean, so are you?
Won't be
Are
seen.
you telling us you were being serious? That's your
Yeah.
singer voice?
I don't even remember. I just know I ain't like it. I just remember how I felt, and I felt disrespected, and I was like, no.
What were you disrespected by the video, or were you Did you feel disrespected because the end said,
Yes, it was the end.
oh, "Okay,
Yeah, you gonna give the whole video away, and well, go ahead. No, actually, don't do that. Actually, don't do that.
and you want to play?"
we gotta make a Patreon for that one.
All right.
Child, exactly. Subscribe to us on Instagram since they got the newest subscription service. Pay 99 cents, you can see the video.
Right. So
That's funny.
it'd be like that though. So yeah,
Mhm.
you'll see some more clips. I don't even know how we got to this.
You'll figure it out when you're editing.
Yeah, exactly. That's when you'll see it.
Oh yeah, because Jess is gonna start editing more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I
When
don't
I
know how we
have
got to
time,
that.
I can do it. When I have time.
Her.
I got a
The thing
couple.
is, she has the best ideas, and
They do
the
be
person
good.
But I'm a
who has the
perfectionist.
ideas executes it the best. So I can't take your idea and be like, I'm gonna make this video. It's just not gonna work because it's not gonna be what you were envisioning. So everyone that has their ideas puts their ideas together and puts it out. And I'd be like, ooh, that's a great idea. And then just be like, can you send us videos to put it together? I'd be like, never mind. Like, I don't want to
Like,
do
I'm
all
out.
that. I'm out. But
I just want y'all input. So, like, for the ones that I was like, oh, let's do a compilation, I'm like, I don't want to be the only one contributing to it. So that's why I'm like, oh, send me your ideas because I don't want it just to be from my perspective. But
That's fine. It can
we
be
all
from your
make our
perspective.
videos from our perspective, though.
they're not compilations, though. Like, of all the episodes or different episodes. It's usually just one episode. Like, for example, the one that I did for Sean, I was like, oh, I know which episode. And it was also easy because I was like, how many episodes are we eating on?
That's true. tearing them chicken bones up. Couldn't tell me nothing. Still don't like eating in front of y'all, but it's cool.
He gonna do it again.
He's saying he doesn't like it, but the last one he was like, so are we gonna do a mukbang?
Because it was Thanksgiving.
Now he has excuses. We can do Thanksgiving without eating
So now you're gonna
in
be
front
like,
of
are we gonna do
people.
it for Easter?
Get out.
Christmas.
Get out.
There's so many
4th of
holidays.
July, my birthday, Juneteenth,
Burgers.
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. Juneteenth. We just gonna have all our red food out.
The red. I don't know how we do black. We can do some black cups.
Well, that wraps up this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, share with an enemy. I don't know. Just tell somebody.
Share.
And follow us and subscribe. Even though we said that.
And again. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Love y'all.